What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today is indeed Wednesday, which means a new summit is now live in Motorfest. It's also going to be August, which does mean a new main stage and of course a new vehicle to go after. So for this we do have the Lasting Legacy Summit, which is the one that's currently active. That is going to be the West Side Smoke, which does look kind of dope. But again, it's going to be a smoke as the platinum reward. And then in gold, we have the Maserati MC20. Luckily, if you guys do own the vehicle, you're definitely going to get money back for that. Then we're also going to have 100,000 XP for the stage thing, and then also some hypercar parts. After that, though, we have the off-roader. This is going to give us the incandescent tire, which I think that tire is not new. Could be wrong, but I do think that tire was from the Crew 2, or at least something that looks just like it. So if that's actually going to be the case, that is going to be pretty dang unfortunate. Then we're also going to have the KTM 525XC, which is of course the rally raid vehicle. So I would say basically everybody owns that ATV. So I'm going to say right now probably 100 or 200 grand back for that thing. And I'm probably going to guess right now that many players would most likely look at the rewards and go, why do I actually want to go after a tire that I do think was in the Crew 2? Definitely something that looks similar to it. I'm actually going to check my vanities. And then we also have the ATV that most players already own. And then the game actually gives you 5,000 spare parts. They definitely need to change that. But the next summit though, guys, I can't even hide it. I am so dang excited for this one. We have the Ring Brothers Makeover. Not only is this summit going to have some dope rewards, we have the 100,000 XP, 200,000 bucks. We also get ourselves an epic underglow as a gold reward. Ain't that something compared to the other summit giving us a epic smoke for the platinum reward? Interesting. But the best thing though is the Ring Brothers Dodge Charger Tusk. Doing a quick Google search, guys, this thing is going to have 1,000+ horsepower, and apparently it's the Elephant motor in that. Can't wait to drive this car. I love the look of it. And man, the Ring Brothers make some incredible works of art of vehicles. My goodness. Love it. After that, though, we're also going to have the Motorfest selection, which I can't click on this, but yes, that is a tire that does not look that cool, even though that's hopefully not the platinum reward, but it definitely is going to be a tire. Let me know your thoughts on that one in the comments below. My goodness, anybody tired of seeing tires? I think I am. Now, as I did mention earlier, though, the incandescent tire was a bit too familiar to me, so I did actually want to check out my tires, and it does turn out, guys, they are actually giving us items from the Crew 2. A lot of players might be like, that's not a big deal, but you know what? It kind of is. Like, the platinum rewards you're actually grinding for are not going to be new. Here it is right here, guys, the incandescent tire. This was legitimately in the Crew 2, and we're getting it again. And I have to admit this, guys, the biggest thing to me right now is the fact that why are they actually giving us platinum rewards that were in the Crew 2? We are actually not even getting new items in the summits. The most annoying thing to me is we do want new players on Motorfest, or at least have more people play it. Why would you actually jump back on Motorfest to get a tire that you already got in the previous game years ago? It just doesn't make sense to me, man. But besides all of that, though, looking at the summit right now, we're actually going to have an escape, a slalom, and a speed trap. Besides that, we're going to be mainly focused on Bugattis. So we're going to have a few hypercar races. We're also going to have tier 2 and tier 1 events. I have to say, for the most part, this summit was pretty dang fun. Even though I do admit, though, the Type 57 SC Atlantic is going to be a pretty odd vehicle to use. It is not going to be the most fun car out there, but I wouldn't say it's going to be the worst car either. Now, for both of the events in this summit, though, you are basically forced to use the Type 57 SC Atlantic for this event here, and you also have to use a classic Bugatti, which of course that is the only one of them, so you're going to have to use it again. The first event here, though, guys, that's over 4 minutes to complete this one, is going to be a navigation race. I'm going to say this right now, I'm not a fan of the navigation events in the summits. Do let me know what you guys think about them. Do you like navigation events? And the bigger question, do you actually like them in the summits? I feel like most players do not. For the second event, though, you actually have to basically do a time trial, which is what I basically call it, but you actually can't destroy your vehicle or at least damage it, then you have to get toward the end of the event, having a full health bar or at least some of the health left on the said vehicle. Luckily for the second event though is going to be a bit quicker, the turning on this isn't awful, and you're luckily not following one of the navigation events. And then for the other event though is going to be a hypercar vehicle loan. For this you actually get to use one of my favorite hypercars, the Lamborghini Countach. This is also going to be the type of event where you have a health bar, which does actually mean you can cut most of the event and probably go around multiple areas to actually get around it and get to the end of the event quicker. Could I actually go back into that event and most likely get a higher time? Definitely, but I was like, you know what? It is not worth another 10,000 points. And then for the top left event though is going to be a Street Tier 2 race. For this you actually get to use the old Lamborghini Countach, and then for the other event you get to use the new one, which is probably going to be the big thing about this summit, like the old Bugatti, the new one, or like a newer Bugatti to the older one. Then same thing with basically both of the Lamborghinis. For this though, I would actually admit though that the Street Tier 2 version of the Countach is not terrible. I do like this car, it's not going to be the best thing out there, but it's definitely not going to be the worst. Funny thing is, every time I actually drive this car reminds me of the one from the Crew 2, to where that was easily the meta in the entire game for a while, until some of the other cars actually came out, but even then, the Countach was still on top. After that though guys, we have a modern Bugatti for this hypercar event. You're probably going to notice 90% of the vehicles used is going to be the Gendo Dici. I would say a lot of players might try the Chiron and stuff like that, but I have to admit, the Gendo Dici is just so dang good. It's actually a bit ridiculous. For me though, I actually wanted to use the Bugatti Divo because it might not be the best, but it can still easily get a decent enough score to still get into platinum. But if you are looking to get like the highest score in this event though, I would have to recommend the Gendo Dici because it is so dang good. Now for the final event though, you actually have to use the other hypercar, which is of course another Bugatti. That is going to be the Atlantic Concept. Is this going to be the best Bugatti in the hypercar category? Well, to be honest, that is probably a no. But it's definitely not going to be a terrible Bugatti by any means, but if you were to actually have to pick one Bugatti in an event, it is probably not going to be this one. I would actually recommend trying my settings on this car because it makes it not as fishtaily as it was before, because I did notice going around certain corners with the Atlantic Concept, it likes to actually get a bit slidey and stuff like that, which can be a bit frustrating when you are trying to grip around certain corners. And then finally though, moving over to the 3 skills. The first one here, you actually have to use a drag car because it's a speed trap, so basically no other car works on this one, which is probably not that surprising. Luckily though, this speed trap is going to be incredibly easy though. The biggest thing about this one guys, you have to watch out for the AI. If they're actually going to be in a bad place or most likely blocking that turn, or the straightaway when you hit that nitrous, you are definitely going to be doomed. The car I would recommend though is going to be the Dodge Viper or the Hup 1. I would say those are probably going to be the best options, but if you guys did want to try out a different drag car, every single drag car does around 430 miles an hour with a chemist set, so you can basically run any of them. After that though, we're going to have a slalom. This one's actually in the water. If you guys do have a score breaker set, I would say these slaloms are going to be some of the easiest skills in the entire game. And then for the final skill though, it is going to be an escape. For this, you do actually have to run a hypercar, which is funny because this is an off-road escape, or at least you most likely start on a mountain. Then you obviously have to drive that said hypercar off the mountain, which does make a lot of sense driving a Bugatti off a mountain, doesn't it? But in this game though, you basically have to. The only good thing about this skill is all you actually have to do is get around 3,000 yards, and you will be well over 150,000 points. The one last thing I do want to mention though is I actually wish they would do one change to the skills. Make it so all of them are actually going to be a class restricted skill. That way for the speed trap, let's say you have to run a hypercar, even a street tier 2 vehicle, and maybe even mess around the scoring a bit, that way it does make sense to that specific class. Like for example, we have an off-road escape. Make it so you have to use an off-road vehicle, that would make a lot more sense than everybody picking a Bugatti. Do let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Even though at this point I would say everybody's like, hey yo, blocked. Let's do that. That would be way more fun because you know what? It legitimately would be. But if you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below. Here's the summit.